It's here, update 1.12 for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, bringing a lot of new features and changes to the game. I will of course run everything down in this video and also touch on the weekly reset that happened as well with the new live events. Really good new daggers that everyone should buy, a new legacy item and more. So I will touch on that at the end of the video, but first let's run down this new patch. If you enjoyed that, then a like would be super appreciated, and let's go. After you installed the 4 gig patch, you will immediately see the awesome new main menu screen that hypes us up for the second episode of the Legacy of the First Blade that will of course be dropping on January 15th. This 1.12 update also adds support for that episode. Level 70 players will immediately see the free ability points that Ubisoft gave away because of the 25 million glitch in the XP bar on level 70. That XP bar has now been reduced as intended and was reset for everyone on 70 as well. But yeah, that doesn't really matter because you get 30 free ability points that would otherwise be really hard to get in that time between this patch and the previous patch. So now you can just fill the XP bar on level 70 and gain a new mastery level, and also of course an ability points every time you fill that XP bar. And you might want to spend those ability points on the new mastery levels that were added. We now got poison effect, damage after parry, damage after dodge, adrenaline on parry, and damage and health increased while in a conquest battle. That you of course also saw in the legendary spear that was already in the game. So it's cool to see that Ubisoft plans to add more of these mastery levels, so there are more ways to make the build that we want. And I will of course share your builds that you send me via the input at JorRaptor email address. Got a ton, so thanks for that, and we'll be showcasing them starting this weekend in the new Your Builds series. So keep it locked for that, it's gonna be cool. For now, let's go back to update 1.12 because a new feature is added. You can now namely change the enemy scaling feature by going to the options menu and to the gameplay tab. And here you can select how the enemy scaling should work with the option to now fight enemies of 4 levels below your level, while first it was only possible to fight enemies that were 2 levels below you. So for that 4 levels you want to select the light one. Medium will be how Odyssey was before the update, so 2 levels behind your level. Heavy will be that all the content always stays on your level, and default will be set according to your difficulty, because it will of course be way easier to fight enemies that are way below your level. So that's also why you cannot use this enemy scaling feature when playing on the nightmare mode. Then the enemies will always be on your level for the ultimate challenge. So yes, upgraded engravings will be nice for that nightmare difficulty, and you can now get them at the Hephaistos workshop at the Mycen cave that you find over here on the map. So fast travel to the ruins of Artemis location and go inside this cave to visit the blacksmith. So Ubisoft planned this feature since launch because this blacksmith was already there at launch, and then everyone thought, what the heck is he doing there? Well, now we know, because you can select a new learn feature where you can buy level 6 and level 7 engravings if you already unlocked the level 5 variant via the challenges. So new ways to spend your drag me, always welcome of course. You can also engrave here, by the way, and if you are for some reason low on drag me, then it's smart to first kill some mercenaries and reach the new ranks that are added for a discount on the prices of the workshop. With update 1.12 we can namely climb the ranks again. We have a tier S1 and tier S2 added to the mercenary window that you unlock after you reached tier 1. So I would say around the level 48, because that is when you can kill the final mercenary of rank 1. Completing tier S1 mercenaries will give you 35 more rewards from bounties and war contracts. So that's really nice, because the rewards from these bounties are of course already really good. So having them increased is even better. And if you reach the end of tier S2, then you will get a discount on the prices of the workshop, namely one of 20%. Some really nice quality of life improvements include the fact that the gameplay icons will now take priority over photos on the map. So goodbye those viewpoint shots where it would be hard to find the fast travel location. It will be easier to fast travel now. Speaking of fast traveling, Some players had issues where they could not fast travel, and that was even out of a red zone. Well, this should now have been fixed as well. There are zoom button indications added to the world map, and the Lost Tales of Greece mission icons will now be displayed even if you haven't reached the area yet, so on top of the Fog of War. And speaking of these Lost Tales of Greece missions, the Daughters of Lelea one has been added recently that you can do by going to the Focus region near this spot on the map. I haven't done this mission myself yet since I'm not at home this week, and you see the footage here from my editor Joyce. So looking forward to doing that myself when I'm back, because the premise of having to train a town for a new danger to come sounds pretty cool. Ubisoft also added support for future Lost Tales of Greece missions that are not out at this moment, including the Poet's Legacy that will be coming later this month and Brothers Seduction that will likely be releasing in February. Update 1.12 also has some interesting balancing changes, like an upgrade for the set bonus for the Nemean Lion Helix set. It was first 5% crit chance and 25% crit damage, and it is now the amount that you see right here. And the Hades set bonus also has been improved. It was first 25% of an adrenaline bar after doing a warrior ability, and now you get more adrenaline. It's of course good to note that the engraving that you can put on other gear pieces that you get if you get this full legendary gear set is still the same. This only applies to the set bonus, and it seems like Ubisoft forgot to upgrade these set bonuses for these gear items in the previous update, so that's likely why we see them now. A very big balance change is regarding the headshots, because they are no longer a guaranteed critical hit. So having more crit chance will be more important for the hunter builds. That did increase the regular headshot damage for everyone though, because of this change. Also worth noting is that the all damage increases from the perks are now additive with each other, while first some were multiplicative. So they would sometimes have a big damage spike. Should be changed now, so if you had a ton of all damage perks in your build, you will notice a difference. Damage from assassin ability perks will now work as intended as well, so you should see the ability damage from the perks added to the ability damage numbers correctly. And also interesting is that if you use the level 3 variant of the shield breaker skill, I never really use it, but I know a lot of warrior players do, then the enemies will now slower rise up after you used the ability. Other fixes include for where players could not re-enter the forge or access Medusa's temple after fast traveling, or where you could see a mercenary from level 71, while of course the max level should be level 70. Quick fixes are for the Home Sweet Home one, will not go into details because of spoilers, where you can now interact with Roxanne for one of her quests as well, and the photo mode is now finally working again, so you can move the camera again upon loading it, instead of having to do the reset button like first. And because of that, the photo mode competition is also returning today as well, as you can see in this tweet from Ubisoft. AGNC is the first topic, so check their Twitter page for more info. That should also be posted today, but is not up at the time of this recording, with more info as to how you can compete. I really like this line in the patch notes. When upgraded, Rapid Fire now has improved special effects. Interesting, because that ability Rapid Fire is not in the game yet, but will be added with the second episode of the Legacy of the First Blade. So cool stuff, really curious to see how this ability will work in the game. So when we know more about that, I will of course post a new video on it and showcase you the ability before you can try it. And I think I got the most important things here from update 1.12, but there are more changes and fixes, so if you want to read them, you totally can. I put the patch notes in the description down below, so read them if you want. And of course, if you see things that they changed, but that they haven't noted in the patch notes, then I'm curious, so hit me up in the comments of this video, on Twitter or Instagram, both JorRaptor, or you can also email me to the input@JorRaptor.com email address. And then we can discuss the secret changes in a future video. Every Tuesday in Odyssey, there's of course the weekly reset, and because again I'm not at home right now, I was unable to report on it when it went live, so I thought why not include it in the patch notes, because it was a pretty big day. Of course, we got the new live event, the mercenary Adonis, the charging bull that you can kill for the bull's chopper epic weapon with nice fire and overpower ability damage. So not bad at all. And yeah, he seems to have a chest that I haven't seen before in the game, as I already noted in a previous video where we discussed this new mercenary. So totally go kill him and maybe recruit him if you want. And you can of course also get the 40 orichalcum from the Fear of Arrows weekly quest this week. That has you kill archers and Athenian marksmen. Like, easiest weekly quest ever. Sucks that I'm not at home to do it right now. But yeah, of course, find these marksmen near the leaders as protectors, but they are also in the Athenian forts. So go there, complete the weekly quest, and then you get the orichalcum. And if you save up 100 orichalcum, then you totally have to get the assassin daggers that are on sale right now at the Eagle store till Tuesday. So you got a few days to get them. They are really good because of the legendary perk that is not only great for the assassin players. No, the 15% all damage but minus 15% health is also amazing on a hunter set, or could work with a warrior build as well. You will of course be using the battle cry of Ares often, so then you cannot die. So having more damage can be really nice. But yeah, for assassin and hunter players of course stay back most of the time. So having more damage and less health is a great trait. But again, I think for the warrior playstyle you can also try and use this perk, because 15% all damage increase is nice for almost every situation. So yes, go get these daggers if you haven't already. And of course, if you need more orichalcum, then totally do the daily quest that appears on the message board every day for an additional 10 orichalcum. You can now also get Aya as a lieutenant in the Ubisoft Club section of the game for 40 club units. And she looks great on your ship, but you can of course also summon her to battle with the Call to Arms ability, where she will battle alongside you with her 2 daggers. And I think that that's only what you want to use her for, because on your ship she doesn't really have the best perks. But yeah, of course, because these perks are level 4, they are instantly worse than other lieutenants that you can easily find in the game that will have a level 7 perks. And you will be able to find them, of course, if you are in the 60s, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, totally cool to see her on your ship, maybe next to Bayek, or have her like summon and fight alongside you. But I really hope that Ubisoft adds ways to upgrade these lieutenant perks as well, so we have a great reason to use them in the naval combat too. The Dionysos pack was, by the way, also released, so again, it was a really big day. You already saw some gameplay of that new outfit and the new mount in this video, but want to go more in depth on the stats and the look of the set in a different video, where I can really like discuss way more than right here. So stay tuned for that one, so I can then also like toy around with it myself. Now I haven't played with this set yet, so I want to do that first before I like really talk about it. So keep an eye out for that video later on next week. For now, subscribe for everything Odyssey, of course. Like this video to support channel. We'll also continue my search for the freaking Hades Lieutenant, of course, when I'm back. But I still got some awesome videos coming your way in the meantime. So keep an eye out for that, Assassin's Creed related as well. So gonna be a good time. For now, I will of course speak to you next time, and goodbye.